Attention, space travelers. All flights have been put in a holding pattern. Travelers in rockets, please remain seated as your flight will continue in a moment. Those travelers awaiting departure, please remain where you are, and a host or hostess will direct you.
Howdy, partners! For your safety, remain seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train, and be sure to watch your kids. If any of you folks are wearing hats or glasses, best remove them, 'cause this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness!
Ladies and gentlemen, your flight has been momentarily delayed. Please remain in your seat until the tower gives us clearance to continue on our present flight path. Thank you.
Attention, space travelers. All flights have been put in a holding pattern. Travelers in rockets, please remain seated as your flight will continue in a moment. Those travelers awaiting departure, please remain where you are, and a host or hostess will direct you.
Howdy, partners! For your safety, remain seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train, and be sure to watch your kids. If any of you folks are wearing hats or glasses, best remove them, 'cause this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness!
I'm the cool kid from the block. I'm the one calling all the shots. Whether you're ready or not, I'm but too plenty. Drop. Go left, go right, working up my appetite. No fork, no knife, having dinner with my eyes. So sweet, so nice, have a slice of apple pie. Wanna see my mind, baby, you just join my ride. Getting ready for the weekend, popping bubbles through the ceiling. Sure, I got dough, but don't need it, 'cause all I want is your healing. Your healing. I'm the cool kid from the block. I'm the one calling all the shots. Whether you're ready or not, I'm about to pump this place up. I'm the cool kid from the block. I'm the one calling all the shots. Whether you're ready or not, I'm about to plant it. Drop. We're spinning on a loop all night. Ride his backseat while he eats my soup for lunch. Feeling dizzy, flying with Lucy in the sky. Think he likes me, but baby, I just do this for fun. Are you ready for the weekend? Popping bubbles through the ceiling. Sure, I got dough, but don't need it, 'cause all I want is your healing. I'm the cool kid from the block. I'm the one calling all the shots. Whether you're ready or not, I'm about to plant it. Drop. Yeah, I'm the best you ever had, but you would never understand that I don't really need a man.
You can just use them. I don't care.
I'm the cool kid from the block. I'm the one calling all the shots. Whether you're ready or not, I'm but too panty. I'm the cool kid from the block. I'm the one calling all the shots. Whether you're ready or not, I'm about to pump this place up. I'm the cool kid from the block. I'm the one calling all the shots. Whether you're ready or not, I'm about to plant it. Drop.
Well, did it work? Can we hear ourselves? Testing. It worked.
It works.
Okay, perfect. How we doing?
I just want to point out how skinny I look.
I think I'm the one that looks skinnier. Since you guys last saw me, I'm down 10 pounds.
Isn't that awesome? Tell us a bit about your diet. What have you been eating?
Nothing.
He literally before we started, he took something out of the fridge. It was this box. I'm like, what is that? It's like yellow stuff. And what was it? It was couscous.
Apparently, people are having trouble hearing us on our mic.
Oh.
Y'all are a little quiet. Okay, I'm going to test this on YouTube, guys. If not, I can quickly fix this. It sounds okay to me.
Someone said audio is fine.
Audio's fine for me, guys.
Someone said quality's not the best. You're good. Your mic is bad.
Your mic is bad? That's impossible. It's literally the same mic, just the more professional version.
You are not quiet. Caden says
you're
okay.
good. Okay. All right. I don't know. I
think
even on my end, it's playing good. It's at 1080 for me.
I mean, 1080 is pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. The camera's better too, guys. I don't know if you clued in. The camera quality, I was able to fix that. So we went from 1080p to to 3K or 4K. No, we're at 3K.
3 or 2K.
2 or 3, whatever. But
we have had a pretty eventful week, haven't we?
We have.
Well, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there was a big snowstorm the other day, last night. That was eventful. But what did we do on Sunday?
We went to Outback Steakhouse.
Oh, yeah, it was so good. That was the highlight of the trip, guys. Totally.
100%.
No, it wasn't. We went to Winter Chill Out.
Okay. Did we not talk about this on the stream? No, because we had the stream and then we went to Winter Chill Out. Okay, I was just making sure we weren't repeating ourselves.
No, so yeah, last time we streamed, guys, was the Grace stream, and then right after that, we went to bed.
I didn't go to sleep.
I went to bed, and then we drove 6 hours to Ohio, and we did Winter Chill Out.
We did. How did you honestly think about it? I know you loved it.
Okay, yeah.
Don't take me out of the equation.
I loved it. I honestly loved it. There were parts that were obviously could have been different. The organization could have been better. There was a few areas where we were just kind of standing around for extended periods of time. That seemed kind of pointless and poor planning. But you know what? They showed us the maintenance shop. That was honestly my dream come true. I got to hold a wheel. You know, we saw how the brakes worked. They had an actual setup, guys, of friction brakes, and they were working, and that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. We got an awesome tour of Millennium Force. We went into the tunnels. We saw how the cable tensioners worked. It was absolutely fantastic. So from that perspective, I thought it was extremely, extremely cool.
Yeah.
What about you?
Okay, so it was good. There were good things about it. I'm definitely being a little too hard on them. I didn't like the amount of standing around. Like, there was a lot of standing around. There was a lot of gray area, which is what I'm going to call it. And then, especially when they walked us over to Steel Vengeance. And I heard other groups were allowed to go up to the sign, though. So remember when I said...
our tour guide was...
I clued in that our tour guide was one of those, like, sticklers. So we weren't allowed to go near Steel Vengeance's sign. We had to just stand back right up against, like, the railroad tracks. Almost, and I was like, so why are we over here?
We were there for a while.
Like,
too.
we've all seen Steel Vengeance. Why did we really have to come over here and stand here for like 20 minutes? But yeah, outside of that, it was good. It was good. The food is honestly, like, everyone, I've been told to go to Mac Bowl. Like, I was always told
Mac
go
Shack.
to Mac Shack at Cedar Point. We actually got to taste it because they're discontinuing it, and it was crap. It was utter crap.
But we did discover, do you remember, that Americans like Velveeta cheese, and that's what they use. Velveeta is like this, it's like Kraft singles, but in a huge brick, and it's like oil and processed, like hydrogenated margarine. It's disgusting.
It was horrible. I hate Velveeta. I've always hated Velveeta.
I can't do it.
He ate mine. Thank you.
You're not supposed to tell them that. Oh, but they had this great crumble. Oh my God, they had a crumble, and I ate so much.
The crumble's good, which I'm assuming is a part of their new bakery for next year. Ooh, this camera's so good. This camera's good.
It's
okay.
just me.
How do I get rid of that box? Okay. What else? We wanted to. Oh, where are we going in 2 weeks?
So, okay, I'm super excited to be taking for all of us to be going there, the people who are going, Brendan's coming. We are going to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and King's Dominion. Both of those parks I find them awesome. They're very special to me. I am so excited for Brendan to try out Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, just experience that park. I know he's going to love it. I have to, and they're sorry, we're trying something else new.
Yeah, so, okay, before we talk about this, I'm testing out widgets because for Patreon users, we are going to implement a special chat for Patreon users to chat in the stream. I'm not liking it in the actual camera setup right now. In the other ones, I'll but right now I'm like, where do I put this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we'll put it up here because it was blocking your face. So keep going. Where are we going?
So we are going to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and King's Dominion in 2 weeks from now. Not even 2 weeks from... Yeah. Less than 13 days from now. We are going to be at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, guys. Both of those parks are incredible. I think I might overhype King's Dominion a little too much. I really like that park, but I know for a fact Brendan is going to love Williamsburg. It is such a beautiful park. They have great rides, great food, great atmosphere, everything. It's really an elevated experience. I'm excited for him to try the rides there. The rides are great, but guys, what I am the most excited for is to see everyone's reaction on Intimidator 305.
I know.
This ride, guys, like, if you've ridden it, you know what I mean. Whether or not you like it, you cannot deny it is the most intense roller coaster ever built.
Yeah.
How much are you paying that person? I can double it.
So I'm trying to reach out to King's Dominion. I'm going to reach out on Monday, and I'm going to beg for permission to film my reaction on I-305, because even a lot of Americans, when I used to be more Americanized as a channel, literally always said, like, I need to see a reaction on your first ride on I-305. So I'm going to film my death.
I told him I once brought someone there a couple of years ago, and this person actually did eventually like black out for like not that long, but she did black out. And Brendan's like, "Are you trying to kill me?"
I'm gonna come back in the station like.
It is that first curve, and guys, if you don't believe us, just look at the reviews on that ride. The #1 review is, "It's too intense. It's too intense."
It's gonna be me. I'm gonna be on the Google like, should have got a B&M.
So that is going to be fantastic. I-305 is such an incredible ride. I think King's Dominion's a nice park. There's Twisted Timbers, Flight of Fear, Dominator. I just can't wait for Brendan to experience these two parks.
And what do you think my favorite ride of the trip's going to be? I already know.
I honestly think it's going to be I-305. I think Pantheon is going to be up there.
It might actually. To be honest, I was thinking a different ride, but it might.
So I think I-305, Pantheon, Alpengeist,
He's missing the real one.
Or Twisted Timbers.
Verbolten. I've been looking forward to that ride for so many years.
It's a fun ride.
Thank you. Ride. Look at even my viewers know me better than you. Verbolten.
So he may be looking forward to that ride the most, but I know what his actual favorite's going to be.
It's probably going to be the food.
Yes, it is.
You guys have no idea. I'm eating nothing right now. I'm eating.
Oh, and another ride.
Actually, I can show you what I'm eating. This is my dinner. It's couscous and chickpeas and spinach.
Another ride I know that he's going to be looking forward to because he just discovered it was there is Invader.
Yeah, actually, I'll probably like that a lot. I guess, do you guys want to go right into Surya's trigger? It's a reoccurring trigger, but this trigger is gonna segue into the title of this video. The title of this podcast. So let's go right into it. Look at this. This is intense.
Look how shiny that... You know what? No. And this is what the problem is. This is the problem. Look at parks like Kingsdale. Literally any park but Wonderland. Any park but Wonderland. Literally. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, this park that only gets, like, 20 people a day come, and they can retract their wooden coasters. But Wonderland, when they retract, they don't even retract the entire wood, guys. They retract the top 2 layers. They probably reuse the running rail. But look at King's Dominion. They are getting the grizzly treatment. They are redoing everything, reprofiling it. They're modernizing it. They're going to make it last another 20 years. Why can't we do that with Wild Beast? If they're not going to get rid of it, if they're not going to RMC it, they cannot continue to just keep retracting like 80-foot sections, because the ride is rough. It's rough, and Mindbuster is rough too. They need to do like 1,000 feet of it at once. They can't keep just putting Band-Aids on it. And they don't understand, maybe they're trying to save money, but the more and more, they have to put Band-Aids on, the rougher it gets. It's just not worth it. Just spend the money, spend the however much it's going to cost, 1, 2, 3 million, and retrack the entire thing properly. There's a perfectly good company here. Gravity Group.
Is that who's doing this?
That's who's doing this. Gravity Group literally has worked with King's Dominion, as you can see here. Gravity Group did the retracking on Beast. They did retracking on Racer at Kings Island. They are known for making some of the best wooden coasters in the world. They have some of the best carpenters in the world. Why can't we use them? Or why can't we just at least properly retract something?
Well, Surya, I'm glad you asked. Our next topic. Is Wild Beast at Canada's Wonderland the next coaster to be getting this treatment in 2024?
I don't think it will be, but it better be.
I honestly think it is. I was thinking about this last night. I was about to make this an actual YouTube video, and I was like, no, we can talk about it on the podcast, and then I'll make it an actual YouTube video. If you've noticed, there's zero work going on Wild Beast right now. There's no retracking work going on Wild Beast, which is a first. Mm-hmm. This is the first season where nothing is taking place. It's still, actually, no, it's not early anymore. We should start seeing it.
No, they can't do anything now.
They could do like a little 100-foot section like they do to Mindbuster.
Yeah, they could do that in 2 days.
But to be honest, I think Wild Beast is going to be 2024. I think in the 2023 off season, we're going to get a Gravity Group refurbishment. Is it the whole coaster getting this?
Everything. The whole ride.
I think we're next.
The whole ride.
They have to. It's so uncomfortable.
It's getting almost to the point where it's beyond uncomfortable. I'm going to say that. But, and not only Wild Beast, but even Mindbuster, like they need to start actually seriously investing in those rides if they want to keep them around any longer. I would love to see this. I think this would be the perfect solution if they don't want to go the RMC route.
I don't think they're going to go the RMC route anymore.
I don't know. I don't know if I could see Wonderland doing this, though. I would love it, and it makes sense, but I don't know. I really hope so. Because when was the last time they actually did work on Wild Beast, and what was it? It was that No, you know what it was?
Every season.
No, what was the last thing they did, though? Was it that curve?
The fan curve. And then a little bit, they added some supports that no one believed me about. Do you remember that?
Coming into the brake run?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a while ago, though. So you are right. They haven't done anything. And you know what? I also just want to point out, whenever they would retrack a section on Wild Beast and even Mindbuster, it didn't make it smoother.
No, it really didn't.
And I don't want to say this because I know Wonderland's maintenance and everything, they are so capable and they do an amazing job. But I think with something like this, they need to hire a third-party company like Gravity Group who only specializes in this, because they have the expertise, they have the equipment, they have the knowledge to do something like this properly.
I honestly think that Wonderland is left with no option, and it looks like Cedar Fair. This isn't the first one to get this treatment, is it? This is the second one to get this treatment. Not full, but Gravity Group is also doing another wooden coaster in the chain, aren't they?
Yeah, Kings Island.
Yeah. So I think that Wonderland is due for one as well.
I would agree. Gravity Group in 2021 did the left side eraser. They did about 1,500 feet, and now they're doing 1,000 feet to the right side. In 2022, they did over 2,000 feet on the Beast. So we need 2,000 feet done.
We need like the whole ride done.
How
long the ride? Okay.
About that.
We need that and then some. They need to retract the goddamn station too.
We need to retract the park.
Because soon there might be a little accident. Someone's gonna drop their vape and it's go. And I'm gonna be filming with the drone. I'm kidding. Calm down. We don't need lawyers involved.
However, if you do load too many people in those stations, it does get a little bit wobbly.
It does. Surya jumps and the whole thing's like, woo.
It's not even a joke.
He's tested it.
You can do it too.
But I don't do it, do I?
You could.
I don't really have anything else to say other than I think it's very plausible we could see. Again, I do want to stress, though, I have no inside information about this. So this is 100% opinion-based that we're talking about right now.
Do you think Wild Beast or Mindbuster?
Wild Beast. I think Mindbuster is something they can do themselves, whereas Wild Beast is so rough. Like, if I was given an option, okay? If I was given an option to ride Mindbuster or Wild Beast all day, I would choose Mindbuster all day. Wild Beast would kill you.
Yeah, Wild Beast is pretty. It's pretty brutal.
Mm. All right.
Just look how nice that craftsmanship is.
What craftsmanship?
All right, all there. Look at that. You don't know where I'm pointing, but look at that
The
track.
tracks,
Oh
yeah,
my
you can
God.
see your reflection off of it. Mirror, mirror on the wall.
When's the last time you could see
Who's
that
the
at
fattest
Wonderland?
one of them all?
I'm gonna get one of those signs.
But yeah. Anything else to say about a possible retracking?
I don't think. I was gonna say Ghoster Coaster is probably the smoothest one coaster.
It
in our
really
park.
is. It really is.
You know what though? I think we've talked about this before, but this is a good reason why we might not be getting another wooden coaster.
I don't think we're getting another wooden coaster. We have 3. We have 3 guys.
Like ever until one of these goes, because how can we struggle to maintain 2?
People are literally predicting wooden coasters out there or wanting a wooden coaster. I'm like, Wonderland has 3 wooden coasters. So until you see one removed or an announcement of one being removed, we can't even discuss a 4th wooden coaster coming to Wonderland. That's not the kind of park that's gonna and the winter, spring, summer, fall, it's hard on wooden coasters, is it not? Maybe that's another reason.
And the only reason like a park like Kings Island can get away with it is because they built their park around those wooden coasters. So they knew ahead of time what they were going to have. So they hired a maintenance team based off the wooden coasters, right? Whereas Wonderland, you know, we don't have as many wooden coasters as other parks. So it's like, why would we need to hire a team of 20 plus carpenters all year round? That's unnecessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's definitely no new wooden coaster coming to Wonderland until you see signs of it. That's why I don't talk about it. I'm not ruling it out of the picture. Again, 2025 could end up being a GCI, but I just don't see any plausible signs to it being a GCI and that price tag.
Unless Wonderland starts hiring like 50 carpenters.
Oh man. Ooh, this is my topic. This is my topic. This is my jam. All you Six Flags fans, get out of here. You ain't wanted. You can't defend your parks anymore.
Okay, let's have it, Brendan. Let's have it. What are we looking at here?
We are looking at an amazing company up top, Cedar Fair. Thank you very much. An amazing, great year. Thank you. Awesome. So attendance at Cedar Fair totaled 26.9 million guests, an increase of 38% or 7.4 million guests compared with 2021. Six Flags. Yet... where am I starting here? Could not make up the massive drop in attendance from 27.7 million visitors to 20.4 million, leading to drops in revenue, net income, earnings per share, and adjusted EBITDA in 2022.
What? Can you just explain what EBITDA means?
EBITDA is like your total like package. It's really complicated. There's more to it. Honestly, like I'll have to explain it in detail because I always forget it.
I don't
you know what?
that.
I'm gonna give you.
I've heard Brendan use that word several times now, and I have no idea. Like I thought it was when he first said it. I thought it was some made up gibberish. I'm like, excuse me.
It's basically like your earnings before you subtract everything. Some companies, this is why I had to look it up. Some companies measure this a little differently. The average company measures this basically before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Some companies actually include a lot more. Some companies include a lot less. But basically, it's before all your expenses, essentially.
Got it.
So, for example, it's earnings before Leviathan's lift motor blew up.
So it's like total earnings, or?
Yeah.
That was a little unnecessary shade, by the way.
Where?
About Leviathan's lift motor.
I thought it was very necessary.
Okay.
Oh, yeah? But to be honest, I didn't even know what that word was until I became a stockholder in Cedar Fair.
I didn't know what that
I had no idea what.
I didn't know what that meant until right now.
Because other companies actually use a different word. And when I worked at Starbucks, we used that word. And that's why that word was ingrained in me. And now I forget the Starbucks word for it. But anyways, So it's almost interesting because Six Flags is down 7 million visitors and Cedar Fair is up 7 million visitors.
I was just going to ask you, so from a business perspective, what does that say when when a chain loses 7.5 million visitors almost overnight, like over one operating season?
Yeah. So basically, what I did is the math. So I took an average price of $40. This is lower than what that 7 million would have equated to. So I took 7 million visitors times $40. That's bare minimum. Okay. So it's probably more than this. They lost over $250 million from just those visitors crashing. Now it's more than that. Again, these guests would have spent more than just the ticket to get in. There's the parking, the food, and all that. So that's bare minimum $250 million that Six Flags lost in 2022 versus 2021, which is insane. It's insane.
That's unacceptable.
It's unacceptable. And people, there's half and half. A lot of people hate Salem. Salem is the guy above us right now. He's the new CEO of Six Flags. A lot of people hate him. I hate him. I think he's horrible. I think he's making the wrong decisions. He's trying to take what was the cheap theme park company and turn it into something it can't be. Mm-hmm. And his goals are too ambitious with hardly anything lined up. Even the additions they announced for 2023 are not additions that would fix what's going on here. So I actually think it's a waste of money. I think they're blowing money that they already don't have. Mm-hmm. I could rant about this all day. And then there's people that actually like Salem. But I've noticed the people that like Salem are people that are slightly racist. And I'm going to explain why in a second. Because Salem said something interesting on the stockholders call that I personally, my personal opinion, view as racist undertones. And I personally think that people that like Salem like this decision because basically Salem viewed it, we'll use Vaughn teenagers as an example to avoid the topic in depth. Basically what he said is he wants his parks to be less Walmart and Kmart and be more Target. That's literally what he said on a stockholders call, essentially. He wanted to remove the rowdy teenagers and bring in a classier like family into the park. So what they did is they raised the prices. They jacked the prices up on a lot of their products. And in turn, what that has done is made 7 million people not be able to afford to go or choose not to go because they didn't see the value in the product. Whereas Cedar Fair has kept their prices relatively medium in the market. Like it's been very affordable in my opinion. And on top of that, what I like about Cedar Fair is they're raising their prices a lot slower. So Cedar Fair is raising their prices, but it raises at a slower rate. And while they're doing that, they're investing in the pyramid. So let's view the investments at a Cedar Fair park, and let's use Canada's Wonderland. You see it right now, especially. So infrastructure, I think, is the bottom of investments. It's the most important part of an investment, and I'll explain it more in detail in a second. Cedar Fair is investing in that, and the best way to look at that is, let's say Canada's Wonderland's building a 2025 edition. So that edition has the potential to draw in a 20% increase in attendance. You have a park that's seeing a roughly 4.2 million guests a year now, and they have record season pass sales in 2023 with hardly any new additions that would create a big draw. So let's say Wonderland's about to build something pretty epic, and they're expecting a 20% increase in attendance with that investment. Their infrastructure needs to be able to handle that. So right now, infrastructure would be like toll booths, front gate, restaurants, warm water in the restrooms for Winterfest. It's everything that's like that. So you're going to see parks like Wonderland, Kings Island, Carowinds, and some Six Flags parks should be doing this, but they're not, investing in their infrastructure to prepare for those big years. And that's the difference between Cedar Fair and Six Flags, in my opinion. Cedar Fair invests smartly. They're aggressive with their investments, like Dorney Park, Worlds of Fun.
Even Cedar Point, they're kind of switching it up, right? With that new restaurant, they're building in more infrastructure there.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm impressed. Like Cedar Fair gets hated on a lot. Like a lot. And sometimes we hate on Canada's Wonderland more than we should too. Like all of us do in the chat. I've seen us all comment on Wonderland. You see they get hated on, but Wonderland's prices compared to other attractions in the GTA, fair. They offer a season pass that now gets you in to so many different seasons for like $99 if you bought it smartly when they first announced it.
$125.99 right now.
$125.99 now, but that's $125.99, guys. That's the price to get into like a park in Florida for the day. For a whole 4 seasons now?
4 seasons.
4 seasons at Wonderland.
And if you can't pay it up front, you can still do a payment plan, which is more than affordable.
Yeah, oh my god. Yeah, Wonderland, we'll take our check now. Thank you. Thank you.
No, it's where's mine? It's frustrating when people say I hate, and even people say with the food too. Yes, the food is expensive, but you go to any entertainment venue in Toronto and you're paying minimum those prices, if not more. $15 for a beer at ACC. Like, come on.
And it's just like, when I'm hearing about the plans for Wonderland, it makes me appreciate Cedar Fair so much more because they're trying to become a place, not an amusement park. They're trying to become this place-making experience, entertainment-wise, food-wise, venue-wise, event-wise, and then roller coaster-wise. And it's funny because roller coasters moved down on Cedar Fair's investment model. And then in the fourth quarter, roller coasters actually moved up on the investment model. And you're seeing it for the first time ever. You're seeing these medium small parks getting really cool, actually really cool investments that aren't like 4D free spins. I love 4D free spins. That's not me hating. But like they're getting dive coasters possibly, and they're getting Zambini. How do you pronounce it?
Zambezi Zinger.
Yes, which actually looks so much cooler than the animation.
Oh my god, the profiling on that.
So like honestly guys, like not to overhype, but be excited about Wonderland's future because Cedar Fair has like aggressive plans for all their parks now.
If I could add something onto that with the Six Flags Cedar Fair thing. So what Brendan just said, he hit the nail on the head so good, where even their smaller like mid-tier parks are now getting these unique, and that's the key word, unique attractions. Whereas you look at Six Flags, they still do the same cookie cutter stuff, you know, same generic names, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, same generic ride, you know, the single rail Skyline or Giant Discoveries, which aren't bad rides, but every park just gets the same thing. There's no uniqueness. There's really no planning. It's like, we're going to take one of those and we're going to put it in each park. And then they wonder, okay, how come people aren't really visiting that park? Well, if you have a family, you know, who went to one park or whatever, you're not going to need to go to these other parks to check it out. So there's no thought process in how they add attractions. They just like, you know, vomit it out. They're like, bleh, that's what we have. That's what I want.
Yes, and to even just elaborate or expand on that any further, this is why I love Cedar Fair. Six Flags is literally buying cookie cutters, and not even good cookie cutters anymore. I watched Coaster Dash. I think I watched this video on Six Flags in Salem this morning, and honestly, great video. Check it out. Honestly, I think it's Coaster Dash. I hope I'm not wrong. I think Coaster Dash made a video about Six Flags. If I'm wrong, I'm so sorry, but someone did, and it was really good. And the best way to describe it is, now when you look at Salem's investments, when enthusiasts were complaining about the 4D free spins being copy and pasted at all the Six Flags parks, we were groaning and moaning. Now look what's being placed at all the Six Flags parks. That was like Christmas back then. Great investments. By the way, it's pronounced Salem. Okay, Salem. Sorry. But I just don't, I honestly don't see Six Flags surviving. Like, and when I say surviving, they will survive. I just see them going down the bankruptcy route again in the next 2 years.
Well, I really hope that's not the case. But if these numbers keep trending
20 million. 20 million. So guys, I know a lot of my viewers are a little more GP, and so am I. But business-wise, Six Flags has almost double the amount of parks Cedar Fair has. It's not double, but they have more parks than Cedar Fair does, yet they're achieving less attendance. A lot of Six Flags' parks are also in metropolitan areas, like Chicago, in warmer climates too.
Yeah, so you had Chicago, Georgia, Los Angeles. There's the two in Texas, metropolitan areas. You know, even Great Adventure, you're an hour away from Philadelphia, an hour and a half from New York City. But Great Adventure is historic for never having lines. Even Magic Mountain. Do you remember Magic Mountain announced they were going year-round, 365 a few years ago? And specifically, I think it was last season, they had the lowest numbers. Like, people were going there. What's the single rail that just opened there last year?
Oh, Great Adventures, yeah.
No, not Great Adventures, Magic Mountain. They had a single rail.
Oh, Wonder Woman, Golden
And for
Lasso.
the media day, there was a 5-minute wait for that ride because no one went. For a media day, no one went. But you look at a Cedar Fair media day, you have an hour and a half, 2 hours for Banshee, 2 hours for Mystic Timbers. Yukon Striker had a lot of people there. Fury had like 5 hours worth of people there. And then you look at a Six Flags event when they unveil a new ride, there's no one there. Why? Because nobody cares, because it's the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Again, like, I really want people to start appreciating Cedar Fair because... Like, I could talk about Cedar Fair all day. Like, I'm literally, like, call me their biggest fan, because I honestly think I am. I would, like, people would faint meeting, like, Shane, or, like, one of those famous people. Any famous person. I don't even know a famous person's name off the top of my head. Lady Gaga. People faint. If I met, like, the CEO of Cedar Fair, I would literally faint. He is so smart. The whole team is so smart. And I love it. I love it. I love the direction the company's heading. I could rant about this all day. Oh, someone.
It's his rant now.
They're such a good company, and they're a goal. Like, I would have said this 4 years ago, and they've gotten even smarter. Even smarter.
I do want to quickly just say, because someone said Cedar Fair needs to diversify something in their investments. I assume you mean that's with, like, the constant B&Ms, but they are still picking an elite manufacturer. They are still getting that $20+ million ride. And yeah, B&Ms run similarly, but you give a dive coaster, a giga coaster, a wing coaster there are different models, whereas Six Flags will take the cheapest of the cheap, and they won't even try and change the layout. They'll have it the exact same layout.
Yeah, and give it time, guys. Give it time, because I think some of you might need to go back and rewatch Grace's interview on our channel last week. There's a lot of hidden information. I don't know if it was accidental or on purpose. So you're going to see, we're actually going to talk about something she said in the stream that kind of leads me to believe that something's canceled. And then that also leads you to believe that we are going to see coasters outside of B&M. Hopefully.
I mean, it's already happening. Look at GCI. They've been working with Cedar Fair now for some time. Even like Gertzlauer, Mock. So it's happening. It is happening. Now Zamperla.
Yeah. Wonderland needed B&Ms. It really did. I understand that decision.
They need those capacity machines, like a reliable capacity machine.
Yeah. Now we need an Intamin. Hi, Wonderland. Intamin.
I-305. That's for me.
You would literally be the only one riding it.
I know, it would be awesome.
Okay. Do you have anything else to say? Anything else to say to Lord Voldemort on the screen right now?
Just stay in your park.
Yeah. Can you imagine it? Remember when there was the rumors of Six Flags buying Cedar Fair?
Oh my god! Oh! They would have cut our attendance down.
Well, no, I'm kidding.
You know what though? One more thing, because I remember like the Six Flags did the whole membership thing, because prior to all that membership, they had like the best season pass base. A regular season pass, no matter what park you bought it at, got you into all the Six Flags parks. That was fantastic. And then they did the membership thing, which was, okay, whatever. And then they got rid of that, and then they got rid of the dining plan, and now they're like reinstating it. When you change every 6 months, you don't know what you want. How are your customers going to know what to purchase, and how are they going to feel safe purchasing something? Like, let's say they want to purchase a membership or a pass. They're always going to be thinking, well, is this going to be useful in 6 months from now?
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Like, there's no guarantee.
Yeah, and that's the other thing we'll talk about. Cedar Fair is making risks. Like, we'll talk about one of the attractions they're removing from Cedar Point. All of you probably already know now. It's not news from us. But, yeah. There is something really cool happening to a really cool-ish ride at Wonderland right now. And I thought, who better than to describe what's going on with Leviathan?
My baby. Oh. Guys, this is actually very exciting. This is an awesome video, by the way. So basically, in a steel roller coaster's lifespan, it requires a lot less maintenance than wooden coasters, but when they do need to be maintained, they need to be maintained in terms of after an X amount of years, it's called metal fatigue, it's wear. So the track, the structure, it will start to warp a little bit, it will start to crack. It's nothing dangerous, and it's actually not cracks, they're called fractures, but it's going to start to deform, and you need to come touch that up. You need to flux it, you need to weld it, you need to maybe replate it, you might need to retorque some bolts. So that's what's going on here. The most common type of fracture that happens, it's called a transversal fracture or a longitudinal fracture. So let's say my finger here is the track, the crack will run longitudinally along the track. So it's not even that dangerous when it's caught right away. It's not dangerous at all, actually, because it doesn't compel against the forces. So if the force comes down here, it's not interacting with that immediate force. But what's happening is the actual grains of the steel start to delaminate, and it makes those fractures. So they just come in, they weld it closed, and then it's good for another 8-9 years. But it's a very routine thing. All steel structures, not only roller coasters, you see sometimes like hydro towers, cell towers, even buildings, they'll have to go in there. They might have to re-weld steel beams, stuff like that. It's a very common thing in the industry. It happens all the time. And it's just pretty cool to actually get to see it done.
Mm-hmm. Is it dangerous?
No, it is not dangerous. You could actually probably leave those fractures for like 4 or 5 years and nothing will happen. Eventually, yes, you know, if left untreated, anything will become dangerous. That won't become dangerous for a long time. The biggest risk is, you know, how much will it delaminate? Will it turn into an actual crack? How big will that crack become? Will rust be able to penetrate the inside of the track? Because if rust goes on the inside of the box spine, it could eat the track from the inside out. That increases more fatigue over time. But if you let it go even for like 3-4 years, no, it's not dangerous. But if, you know, the park has some free time, yeah, it's good to address sooner rather than later.
You know what's funny, though? I have to give Wonderland credit. They take really good care of their steel coasters compared to their wooden coasters. Like, look at a ride like Vortex.
Yeah, 100%. I was going to say, you know, Vortex is probably a lot more popular than the wooden coasters, but Mindbuster's fairly popular, too.
Yeah.
I think Wonderland's maintenance team is really more geared towards, you know, catering towards the B&Ms and the steel roller coasters, like the steel fabrication. I'm sure they have a really good welding team. I'm sure they're in contact with really, you know, professional welders and iron workers and stuff like that. And it really goes to show when they do stuff like this. So that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, like, this was so cool. It was posted by Estra_welding. They do a lot more than just Wonderland. And it's a very normal job, too, by the way. This isn't anything wrong. You're going to see this company, I believe, working on the ride for a little bit. It's the same last season. I believe it's the same company that worked on it last season. I don't know too much. We don't talk to them.
If you drive by the park for whatever reason at like 2 p.m., you know, on a Tuesday or Wednesday, you can probably see them up there in their little box doing their welds. Mm-hmm. But they're not even always welding. Sometimes they're just inspecting, right? Like they're making sure the bolts are still torqued. Everything like that is still good. Now, I will say, while they're up there, they could maybe put a little paint on.
I think Behemoth is due for a paint job before. Did y'all see my TikTok? I don't know if they could even hear me. The mic was so far away. Did y'all see my TikTok on Behemoth? Hello? Did you see my TikTok on Behemoth? It needs a paint job real bad. Did you see the catwalk?
It does need a paint job.
Oh my goodness. I'm like, I normally make fun of it, but now I'm like, okay, this is getting Six Flags level.
Yeah.
Like, at least take a power washer.
Or just do something.
Yeah, so guys, when we end this stream, I'm going to look at the mic settings. I just plugged this in. I have a feeling I have to go into my mic settings and boost something. Because it's a better mic than my previous one. But for some reason, it is picking up a little quieter. But yeah, I'll figure it out in between. The hangout session, we have a fun little activity. Yeah, we have a fun activity. So join us there.
I also just want to quickly point out, just in case anyone is wondering, all those little black marks there, that's not rust or anything, that's just chain grease. So it will drip out from the top sprocket. It's all open. Maybe even, you know, if you've ever been under Leviathan or any ride, you might have seen it fall on you, a little like black oil, and that's all it is. It's just chain grease.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Satan coming to claim my soul.
It could be for you, yeah. You would like that, though. Would you prefer I say Jesus?
We don't talk about that here.
That's such a beautiful view.
Oh, it's cherry Coke Zero.
I told you that on the phone. It's my favorite Coke Zero.
That's why you got it. Oh my God, you just exposed yourself. This man called me before our little trip last weekend. And he's like, I accidentally got Coke Zero cherry flavor. Is that okay? Lo and behold, it's your favorite flavor. No matter what you say to me right now, I don't believe you.
That was an accident. I swear to God it was an accident last time, but it's a good accident.
I'm just playing. All right. Oh, really good topic. 2 canceled attractions for Canada's Wonderland.
How do you feel about this?
I have a lot to say. Okay, so one of them I know was for sure coming to Canada's Wonderland, the Flying Theater. I knew that we were supposed to be getting a dark ride in Action Theater, and it was supposed to happen a couple years ago. And I was sitting here wondering, okay, I know I've been told or heard from a very reputable source that Action Theater was supposed to be turned into a Flying Theater. Why isn't it happening? I'm like, it's going to happen next year. Then it didn't happen, and I'm like, okay, it's going to happen next year. And it hasn't happened. So I'm like, it's going to happen in 2024 no matter what. Until Grace came on our live podcast and gave a little juicy tidbit about decisions that Wonderland are making now. What did she say?
She said that they saw, you know, what people wanted and stuff for Winterfest, and they want to more cater towards the rides and things like that.
Okay,
I think, right?
No.
Am I wrong? I'm
So-
completely wrong. I'm sorry.
I thought you remembered it.
Attendance.
Grace said that Wonderland is going to be building attractions that you can't find elsewhere in Canada.
Did she say that on the podcast?
She said that on the podcast. She literally said that on the podcast. She didn't say that in our meeting. So with that being said, there was a Flying Theater announced for Toronto.
By the CN Tower, right?
By the CN Tower. So my assumption, again, this is, I can't confirm it's canceled, but I'm like, it's definitely, it's been delayed significantly, and it's a Winterfest ride. So I would have thought they would have built this ASAP because they need more Winterfest rides. And the fact that it's not being built leads me to believe that what Grace told us about they wouldn't build attractions that already exist in Canada, that they have canceled this project. It's been taken off the, bye. So another attraction is Forbidden Frontier. Why don't you explain what Tony and the Cedar Point said?
So this is actually probably the only bit of actual cool information we got during that Q&A. But so at the Q&A for Winter Chill Out, they were talking about things that were closing, like the Mac Shack. But the biggest thing they said was Forbidden Frontier at Cedar Point was going to be closed for the 2023 season. And basically what they said, what it boils down to, was attendance. Nobody went to it. People didn't even know it was there. People had no interest in going there. They went in there once, they said, and they did not have a good time. It did not meet the expectation that the Cedar Fair, that Cedar Point thought it would be.
Yeah. So he even said the amount of work that went into staffing this attraction too, it was just costly for hardly any interaction that was going on. So they didn't see the return on investment. Thus, it is closing. There is no planned attraction at the moment. Whenever Park says that, I don't actually believe them. So, yeah, I've heard other rumblings as to why it closed, all of it being under cost, but I won't go into that.
Now, I want to ask you, because when we heard they were closing, you almost looked relieved.
Yes.
Why were you relieved?
Okay, this is T. A great question. So, we've been talking about Whitewater Canyon, and Whitewater Canyon has a lot of distance markers in there right now. Mm-hmm. And Whitewater Canyon is possibly the only land location in Wonderland that would make sense for a Forbidden Frontier style attraction. Canada's Wonderland is also one of those family parks where Cedar Fair would unfortunately be eyeing an attraction like this to come. It was inevitable that we were on the list for one of these. So I was worried that these 2025 plans that we've been hearing about and the really high price tag, I don't know what Forbidden Frontier cost. But the price tag that we're hearing for 2025, I was a little bit nervous, about 20% nervous that it was Forbidden Frontier. It was, so I'm like, I was betting on a coaster, and I actually have a video for you guys. It's so exciting. I have a really cool video. I might even tease it in our hangout session that proves when Wonderland's going to get a coaster and how many coasters they're going to get over the next 6 years. I'm working on that video. I have everything, but I'll show you guys. So I'm pretty confident that we're getting a coaster in 2025, but there was a little, because of the location of where the construction markings are showing up and the distance markings, there was a little bit of nervousness. Now, the only thing is I don't see why they would use distance markers for an attraction like Forbidden Frontier.
Yeah, it's more like just static structures, like play structures, or like maybe a restaurant, or just some theming or atmosphere stuff.
Yeah. So I honestly, I was relieved because it was something that I was afraid of, like deeply afraid of, that we were going to be the next park.
And that would have killed a lot of space.
It would have killed a lot of space. But yeah, do you have any other thoughts? So the other thing is, when it comes to the Flying Theater being canceled, it doesn't mean that they won't put a dark ride in Action Theater. They're probably eyeing another one. There are many options they could put in there. They could put a more a trackless shooting ride in there for more of an adult audience, maybe one that works, unlike Guardian.
Like something from Niagara Falls? Like
Yeah,
the
but
4D.
that exists too now, right? With the hands, but that's made by Triotech too. But on top of that, I've been hearing rumblings that Action Theater actually isn't in the best health anymore. It's infested from what I've been hearing, and these are just rumors and speculation. This is nothing confirmed. And the building actually isn't in a stable condition to build an attraction in it. I don't know how truthful that is, so I can't 100% say that's 100% true, but we have heard that. So maybe that's part of it too. And maybe that's why the mountain is becoming a conversation.
Do you think there's any value in that building for being a haunt? Like just haunt? Do you think they're going to keep that maze in there?
No, I mean, for now, yes, but Wonderland can easily build tents in the outskirts of their parks, like a lot of the parks do. Like even Universal Studios, they build these tents outside, and then you just have the queue lines. I think that makes sense for Wonderland to do in the future. I could see them removing things, especially from the basement of the mountain, and just building tents on the outskirts, like Kingswood, stuff like that. They even have the theater they could use beside the mountain.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, they could put a haunt maze in there. You have anything else to say about these two most likely canceled attractions?
I'm pretty happy.
I'm pretty happy too. Well, okay.
Not the Flying Theater.
Yeah.
The Flying Theater would be cool, and I still think that would be unique for Wonderland's audience. But Forbidden Frontier, that looked like I went there once, I think in 2019. It was terrible.
Okay, guys. This is a slight tease to a video that I'm paying to have made about Canada's Wonderland. But, yeah, a front gate reno.
I wish.
So you've been with me when I fly the drone.
Yeah.
And you've seen what we're starting to see. And again, you're going to hear the constant word, bottom of the pyramid, infrastructure. So just to start off the conversation, what you're seeing on the drone that I posted the other day isn't a front gate reno occurring right now. It's infrastructure. So plumbing, electrical, upgrading the system. Again, when we heard Wonderland and Cedar Fair are upgrading the infrastructure of the parks to be able to handle the growing attendance. Wonderland is a park that desperately
Needs
that infrastructure upgrade, from plumbing, electrical, everything. So that area of the park is getting some plumbing, electrical upgrades in preparation for what I would assume is a front gate reno, probably, hopefully, coming in 2024. It could be coming in 2025, but I would assume they would fit it in to our off year. I would hope they would fit it into our off year.
I just thought
What?
the 2025, and then you put a roller coaster on the front gate. Like Cedar Point.
I can't see them starting World Expo yet. There's a chance, but I see them finishing Frontier Canada. I can't, and the distance markings.
That's true.
Unless we really are getting a GC. I don't. Yeah. But
Regardless, we need a new front gate. If you guys have ever gone there on a Saturday or just any summer day, you get there at 10 o'clock, 10 a.m., which is a terrible time, guys. Don't go at 10 a.m. Go either earlier or later. But you get there at 10 a.m. That front gate is absolutely packed. There is no room to walk, and things are just moving slow as molasses. Again, that's not necessarily Wonderland's fault, right? Because Wonderland's population the attendance has increased exponentially over the last 5-6 years, to the point where maybe they aren't able to keep up all the way, right? So now they have to start prioritizing, like they prioritize with Lazy Bear. We need a new, better restaurant. Okay, we got that. So now we need a new front gate. How do we get people into the park? We need front gate and parking lot upgrades. So that might be something that they're trying to work into. You can't do it all at once, but you have to prioritize.
Thank you for saying that. It pisses me off sometimes. There's enthusiasts. This is why I can't drink pop on the stream. There are enthusiasts that are literally like, why can't Wonderland do this, and that? Girl, slow down. They are. Like, they cannot fix front gate, toll booths, build a new coaster, fix the washrooms, upgrade all the restaurants in even a 1-2 year period. Try explaining that to their stockholders.
Yeah, that's very expensive.
No, it doesn't work that way. And to be honest, Wonderland's one of those parks that really doesn't need the investments at the end of the day. They're going to do the same numbers essentially for the next little bit. We're really lucky to be seeing these investments. We really are. Because at the end of the day, a stockholder could approach Cedar Fair and be like, why are you investing in a park like Canada's Wonderland that's going to see 4 million attendance for the next 5 years, no matter what you do? And Cedar Fair could be like, you know what? Yeah, we'll use Wonderland as a cash cow, and we'll start investing back in Cedar Point because their attendance is starting to flatline and go down a little bit. So let's pour more money over there. We're really lucky that Cedar Fair is eyeing Canada's Wonderland and seeing some sort of future goal. There has to be something that they see in the park that we don't necessarily see ourselves yet, because the investments are coming, and we're really fortunate that the company is doing that, because for a publicly traded company, it's really difficult to argue investments for a pretty stagnant attendance park. It doesn't really have much more room to grow. Like, we're not gonna be able to hit 5 million unless they expand their season. The park already hits near capacity for a lot of haunt, and for a lot of the July-August months, it's pretty much
not even expand. When you said hit 5 million, just think about that. 5 million people in a year. That means on average a summer day you're looking at over 50,000 people. Would you say?
Yeah.
Where are all those people going to go? So you need the restaurants, you need that new front gate, you need the parking upgrades, you need the washroom upgrades, you need even just the walkways, guys. Think about how congested some of those paths are. You need new paths, you need wider paths, you need properly laid paths where there's no tripping hazards, anything like that. It takes time.
And we're never going to see a parking garage. Everyone's always like, oh, build a parking garage so you can develop half of the parking lot.
$300 million.
Parking garage is outside of the budget for any Cedar Fair park. It's
the
literally
most amusement parks outside of Universal and Disney.
The price tag being $300 million in itself, whether it be slightly less, slightly more, maintenance on top of that in a winter climate,
Salt.
the amount, it literally won't make sense for Wonderland. So you're never going to see a parking garage at Wonderland.
I do want to say, though, what Wonderland does have going for them is the public transit. A lot of people do transit to the park. Hopefully, the local municipalities, they reinstate some certain bus routes, like the Go Bus and stuff might come. Well, I'm not saying it might come back, but hopefully things like that, they make it more accessible, because if you increase transit, then you don't really need people to drive to the park. If you live 20 minutes away and you're a 20-minute bus ride, yeah, just bus over. And if that keeps going on, they won't need to expand the parking lot.
Yeah, and I do want to touch on something Imagine Ingredients said, Mr. Sandwich. The stockholders would love a big reduction in labor hours that an automated parking entry would give them, though. 100%. Cedar Fair raised the cost of labor at Wonderland significantly, and in turn what they're going to have to do is automate some things. You can't automate the rides. That's already been vocalized many times by a lot of companies. So the places you can automate are admissions, shopping. Again, we already know in 2024 there's a new app coming, and the app is going to have mobile payment, which is mobile ordering, being able to scan and pay, tap and pay at many of the merchandise places. So they are automating. It's coming. But yeah.
I think there's still, a few years before we see everything, really not wrap up, because it's going to be ever expanding, but Wonderland needs to play catch up right now with a lot of things. So we have to be patient. We have to give it, I think, 3 to 5 years for them to fully catch up with everything.
Yeah, they would probably make it mandatory to scan into the park. It wouldn't make sense not to. And it's time that Canadians start, when you go to an American Cedar Fair park, a lot of the booths are automated. You self-scan now, and it makes sense. When you go to a toll booth on a highway in the States, a lot of them are automated now too. Yeah. So it literally is old technology that a lot of Canadians just aren't used to yet, and they need to get used to it. I know our generation and younger are used to it.
So Carowinds does it really well. Kings Island do it really well. They usually have, per 3 lanes, they usually have one attendant per 3 lanes, and their job is just to make sure everything is going okay, because you're always going to get that one person who can't maybe figure it out. Or, they want to pay, or there's something wrong. So it's not like you're eliminating jobs completely, but, when you have 10 parking booths, if you can go from 10 people staffing them to 3 people staffing them, that's still good savings.
Yeah, it is.
Especially when you can compound other places too.
Mm-hmm. All right. Oh, wow.
I just thought of something else.
What?
So in 2019, I think it was actually 2018 with Steel Vengeance, Cedar Point also got those self-compacting trash cans, which requires to be emptied a lot less. So right there, you cut down on park services labor. So you don't need someone to come every day to empty those garbages, because that's a lot of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now they need to be emptied. I believe it's like once every 2 or 3 days, because they self-compact right there.
That's crazy.
So it's like little things like that.
Yeah. Especially since that is a hard department to hire for. Guys, that's it for topics. We hit that in an hour.
Oh my God.
Should we just end the podcast now and go over to our hangout session?
Guys, the hangout session's going to be pretty fun.
What did you forget?
I forgot the part. I forgot the part of the day, guys. I am so sorry. I've had a quite the yesterday and quite the today, guys. So I'm sorry. I forgot the part. I forgot the part. I had to, my battery died. I was on top of a hill. I had to coast in neutral and go down the hill. Don't worry, the car's fine for the trip. And then the shoveling. I'm at war with the snowplows.
No, but everyone's so disappointed in you. Apologize.
I'm really sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. Here's the part of the day. It's the e-stop button. It's actually just
it's a log flume e-stop button.
A log flume. I don't even think it's an e-stop. I think it's just an actuator. It's basically what an actuator button looks like. You push it, it sends a command. That's where all the inlets go for the PLC. Pretty cool. Nice part of the day, Brendan.
The box behind you has cool stuff. Well, this is Yukon Striker from when I went on Media Day.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I also have a Millennium Force bolt over there, but that's okay.
I don't know how we got those.
This is my favorite Disney character, Maleficent.
This is a polar bear.
That's sorry, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a hippopotamus.
Yeah, I think that's it for news. Oh my god, I thought for sure. I was telling him, like, this is so stacked, so stacked.
I feel like we gave a lot of information though.
We did, like honestly,
we just kind of spit a lot of information at you guys.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, are you okay if we end this stream, quickly take a 5-minute break, and then we'll start up the little game we have? Like, we'll end this stream and start the hangout session. All right. Okay, so we're going to end the stream. 5 minutes. We'll start a new one. Come join us there. Yeah, and ask us any questions about anything we talked about in this stream as well. So if there's a topic you have a question, ask us there. So yeah, thanks for being a part of today's podcast.
Thank you, guys. This was fun today.
Yeah.
This was a lot of information. I like that.